WNBA executives, coaches, and scouts all waiting to see who's going to show up, who's going to show out with just over a week to go until the 2025 WNBA draft.
Thank you so much, AJ. Lots of eyes on these women this afternoon as we take a look at our State Farm starting lineups. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and you're looking at the starting five for Team Miller: Lucy Olsen, Diamond Johnson, Madison Scott, Michaela Timpson, and Hadija Faye round out the starting five in Navy. And on the other side, looking at Team Lieberman, the starting five. It's going to start with Zay Green, Jewel Spear, Harmony Turner, Alyssa Usby, and Erinette Von Lay.
Kelsey, I feel like I got to ask you, who are you looking forward to seeing?
I mean,
we
saw some great talent yesterday. We had the opportunity to watch so many of these players in the combine go through drills, go through tests. I like what I saw from Harmony Turner as well. She is the Becky Hammon Mid-Major Player of the Year. She brought Harvard their first ever Ivy League championship this year. It's going to be a great show for Turner and for all of these athletes as we are off and ready to go. The fun just beginning here in Tampa as you see Lucy Olsen hands it off to Johnson, who lets it rip. Her three short. Johnson out of Norfolk State, the 2025 NCAA Player of the Year.
I love the intensity that we're already seeing. Just a couple seconds into the game, but it's intense already.
As you see, Usby gets the first bucket of the game. Tar Heel.
We were able to talk with her before the game, and she really wants to show her versatility, being able to play that 2 through 4 position. She can even bring it up the floor as well.
She has great size.
You see Olsen, the Hawkeye, getting it done in the paint early.
She was one of them in the combine yesterday at the little scrimmage that really turned it up. She plays that with a high motor, always looking for her shot or creating for a teammate. So we're gonna see Usby here again going downhill with her left hand. She's got an excellent mid-range game, and then Olsen, she is a one-on-one player. She can break you down with her handles and then rise up for that mid-range shot.
That might have been an and one for Olsen.
She has that like hang time in case she gets hit on the side.
Faye in trouble, kicks it out to Timpson. Her three off the mark, but Faye there for the offensive rebound.
Faye's working on these boards. Last possession down, she didn't get the rebound, but she had her hand on the ball.
Faye cutting, getting to the rim, and she's going to be heading to the free throw line.
That's nice. Something that I noticed with these players is that the chemistry is not there. It's their first time playing together, but Olsen to Faye, that's a great pick and roll read. A lot of that happening in the WNBA. Faye needs to hit these 2 free throws to capitalize on it.
Now, you mentioned it, Monique. These women just had a few days with each other. They got to meet the other day, do some bonding activities before they got to work in the combine. As you see, Hadija Faye.
Yeah, it's really hard to build chemistry on the go like that. It just feels like you're playing pickup sometimes. But I feel like these women have really done a great job of that on the fly.
In these all-star games, that's what you want to see, is back to the basics, fundamental basketball, that pick and roll, and how can you work a 2-man game or a 3-man game. Those scouts, that's really what they're looking for.
Zay Green finding Usby. Kicks it back out to Turner. Harmony Turner, her first shot attempt in and out. Timpson there for the rebound.
Johnson was all over Turner.
And what these teams both practiced in their 1-hour practice they all had together is they were working this 4-out motion. And then anytime somebody drives, there was rotation. So we're going to want to watch for that because it's playmaking ability and then kicking it to an extra teammate.
It's Von Lay with the rebound. Gets things going for the red team. Shot fake from Turner. Through the paint, Turner is going to draw the foul.
What impressed me the most about that play right there by Turner is how she can move and get an extra move, that second and third move. You see her here, there's first move. She's going to click, slipping through the lane against 4 defenders. I think a lot of that play is when she practiced against the 3-on-3. She had to play for Team USA, playing that 3-on-3. You have to work on your second and third option off the bounce.
Turner makes her first free throw.
With that, too, just being confident to drive, to attack. That's what I like about Turner's game. She's fearless when she plays.
She's just got that fun vibe. She's always smiling. It's like nothing phases her. So if she misses a couple shots, she's going to be ready to take that third shot.
I like what she stands for. She said, nerds hoop too. She's representing for all the nerds out there.
That's what, yeah, exactly. She even turned that into an NIL deal.
Yep.
Wanted to be a hoop nerd. So a lot of hoop nerds out there. You'll see a lot of T-shirts floating around Harvard campus.
The pick and roll is working so nicely right now. now for the blue squad.
You like to see that. It's not just for the open shooter, it's to make that extra pass.
Diamond Johnson getting the rebound. The Philly native, we mentioned 2025 MEAC Player of the Year. She was actually on the watch list for the Dawn Staley and Becky Hammond Awards. That's Spear with the rebound, pushing up court to Green.
Oh, Nick, you and I were talking earlier just about the pace of the game, that we were going to go back and forth and back and forth. That's what you get, is those open transition looks when you're pushing it up the floor.
Exactly right. Uh-oh.
What we
Got
have
a little
here.
sneaky play from Turner with a hair flip.
Look at that smile.
And guys, right now we are mic'd up with head coach Nancy Lieberman. Coach, how we doing in the early minutes of this game?
Run, run!
You see her coaching up her team.
She's locked in.
She
Coach
is.
Nancy Lieberman is locked in, y'all.
Spear in the paint. No, Madison Scott comes in with the rebound.
This is when that second wind comes in. The player's looking just a little bit tired. I'd like to see some transition buckets, specifically from the bigs. If you can get out in transition, that's something that's gold to these WNBA scouts.
Right, we're seeing them go up and down the floor, but it's how do you change gears? How do you pause and then explode towards the rim, try to get the defense on their heels?
That was Madison Scott with the jumper. Osby trying to get the response. Scott getting in there with Turner. It'll be heading the other way.
A lot of quick reads down here for the blue squad. They're doing a great job of reading the pick and roll, coming off tight. We talk about angles when it comes to screening the pick and roll, and I think they're reading their angles correctly. Madison Scott might not have hit that shot, but I like the fact that she's getting downhill off that screen.
Right, those little like DHOs where you're going shoulder to shoulder, it just creates that separation. We got a whole new lineup in, Kelsey.
Lots of new faces in for both sides. That was Michelle O'Neal. As you see Izzy Higginbottom, the Arkansas grad for Team Red. That was Julia Arol out of Michigan State with the rebound. Here comes Gordon through the paint, just missing.
That's what she did really well at FSU, attacking the rim, creative on her finishes.
And Sammy Priestess, one of the best three-point shooters in the country, but she's got some backup from her teammate Jordan.
Well, look at Jerkayla Jordan. She is a star from Mississippi State. She brings that fire like her head coach, Sam Purcell. And Monique, she has that jerk sauce that she created in her NIL deal. So a big thing they still sell at the stadium because she's got that flair like you just saw off that finger roll.
I love the opportunity that these ladies have with NIL, making plays on their names and just capitalizing on their brands.
Yeah, and creating their own brand while you're in college. And a lot of them are going to, business school as well. And we're going to see this nice reverse layup by Jerkayla Jordan. First, it's the the offensive rebound, and the nice touch off the glass.
We need her to give us some of these hot sauce.
I know, we need like that beef jerky, I think, is next in her line after the jerk sauce.
All right, y'all are making me hungry. It's not even lunchtime.
It's not even halftime either. We can't even have a break yet.
5-second violation, so it's Team Miller's ball. They trail by 3 here with 5 minutes and 10 seconds to go in quarter number 1. We will end this game with a target score, so we're guaranteed a game winner, excitement throughout. It was Team Lieberman who took the win last year. They actually had a 20-point comeback to win it off a basket from Deasia Fair. That's Michelle O'Neal. And she'll head to the free throw line. So we'll step aside for the first time. Back and forth, exciting action here in Tampa from the Lilly Women's College All-Star Game. More on the other side. The Women's College All-Star Game on ESPN is sponsored by Lilly 99. When breast cancer is detected early, the 5-year survival rate can be as high as 99%. Herbalife, live your best life, and ESPN+. AJ McCord has more on the sidelines. AJ?
Cheryl Miller's message to her team in that last timeout was to hit the boards, be aggressive, and to drive. They finished the timeout with a cheer of together. 2 women on the court who look to emulate exactly what Cheryl is talking about. Julia Arol, one of the best blockers in Michigan State history. And then McConnell, we talked about her grit, her toughness. If somebody is going to be aggressive out of this timeout, look for it to come from McConnell.
Thank you so much, AJ. And Julia Arol, 7th in the Big Ten in blocks per game. As you see Lawrence connecting.
Well, to Cheryl's point, I would say her team has been great at going towards the boards, being aggressive, specifically Faye and Anya. We've seen that already in this game.
See Izzy Higginbottom loses control. Aralt's there. McConnell pushing ahead.
One thing you want to see in these all-star games is the ball movement, because otherwise the ball can get a little sticky when you haven't played with each other. So either seeing them catch and go off the bounce or catch and make that pass, that's really what's going to get their offense in a flow.
So important at the next level, too. There's not too much one-on-one play that's happening in the league. You got to be able to play in a system.
That's right. You got to plug and play in a system, keep the ball moving, because there's only, with the length, the size that you guys have in the WNBA, you got to get that shot off quick.
That's something that I have had to learn throughout my 8 years in the league thus far.
Puises lets it rip. Fertig got the offensive rebound, but that's not 2 blocks for Julia Aralt.
That's what AJ was just talking about. What a good shot blocker she is. Then knocked that one down.
Little step back. Lawrence made it look pretty.
She knew that was going in. She didn't even hold the follow through, just ran back. She said, I got this.
She's got the vibes. I love her story from Kentucky. She's hit the last couple of buckets there for Team Blue. And what she did, she scored 31% at Charlotte, and then she went to Kentucky. Here's Aralt right here with a huge block, and then she's going to get it up to Lawrence. And then she got to Kentucky, and she wanted to work on her shot. She said, I worked on it tediously to be a three-point shooter. She went from 31% up to 39%. And that's what you talk about player development, Monique, and getting it to that next level and growing each year.
That's what that offseason is for. You work on something, add it to your bag, and show it in a game like this.
Right, when everybody's got their eyes on you. Now we got a couple of knockdowns here by each team.
Little run from Team Miller.
Team Miller looking real nice.
That 3 from Lawrence was their first 3 of the game. Izzy Higginbottom with a tough finish.
Hey, Higginbottom.
Izzy Higginbottom led the SEC in scoring with 24 points per game.
Super tough move here. Look at her left hand holding off the defense. That's key in how she's able to get that shot up.
And more on Izzy. Let's bring in AJ.
Thanks so much, Izzy Higginbottom out of Arkansas. And look who I found here. Just walked in, Mike Neighbors, Izzy's coach at Arkansas. And now moving on to LA. What do you think of that, Coach?
I just told these guys here, I've seen that shot over and over where you go, oh, no, hey, good shot, good shot, good shot. So it's great.
For those who are being introduced to who Izzy is as a player here at the Women's All-Star Game in Tampa, how would you describe her?
Don't trust your eyes. Like you watch it and you go, that's not supposed to go. She's made another one. She's made another one that you go, just don't. I mean, at 31 years of experience, and I got it wrong a lot of the years. She's an unbelievable kid. Just don't be surprised by anything she does.
And when you look towards her moving to the next level, what is the defining features a WNBA coach could find in her?
Yeah, it's like I just said, it's really hard to evaluate. I call her a fungus in a good way. She just grows on you. That's why I call her that. So you got to let her grow on you. You got to really go deep. She's not one of these pass the eye test, past all those metrics and that we love as analytics as coaches, but you just got to let that fungus grow a little bit.
There you go. Thanks so much, Coach. Back to you, Kelsey.
You bet.
Awesome. Thank you so much, AJ, and to Mike Neighbors, former Arkansas head coach, now the head coach for the Los Angeles Sparks as he takes his position in the WNBA.
Is it safe to say Mike Neighbors is maybe the good luck charm for Izzy? Because she just hit 2 back-to-back buckets as he walks in.
As he walks in. She always wanted to be a Razorback. You saw that when she was 11 years old, that birthday cake there. And it was a really great story about he recruited her in the transfer portal. And she's like, I always wanted to be here. And that's what she did. She actually had to score 38% of Arkansas's points in one of the toughest conferences of the SEC at her height. And you saw what she's able to do with that body control. Monique, one of the things I'm really curious about in the WNBA for her is she gets all the attention, but what would it be like if she, isn't the star? So how can she impact the game being more of a role player? And that's going to be like, maybe she's more open and can still score points.
100%. I'd focus on the defensive end, being a hustle player. If she's able to pick up 94 feet, usually smaller players are scrappy, in your face, pesky defenders, the type of defenders I hate.
I was just going to say, the ones that you don't like to play against, those little ones.
The little ones, you got to keep the ball up as a post, but that's what she could do to solidify her role in the league.
That's right. Get that little physicality. And we've got a few of them out here. We've seen some great players like Courtney Vandersloot can do that now with the Chicago Sky.
Turner, deep 3 off the mark. Another opportunity. Here's Usby. She gets fouled.
Usby had great body control going up with that offensive, not the offensive rebound, but just the attack towards the basket. She really got her body into her defender, was able to get it up.
So Alyssa Usby, you see that sleeve on her knee. A couple of weeks before the season ended, she had a surgery, and it was supposed to take 4 to 6 weeks. And it actually only took 2. She worked on it holistically. She was doing red light therapy. She just kept her mind positive. The funny thing is she missed her senior game, but then they got a 4 seed and they were able to play back at home. Can you imagine that, missing your senior night, but then got the 4 seed, able to play in Carmichael Arena? And she said she always wanted to jump on the scores table. And you see her vibes. That's the kind of player that she is. And what a cool story to finish your college career in the moment that you want after playing 5 years at UNC.
That is one of the coolest pictures,
right?
I think, ever.
And one thing, like she said, she always had wanted to do it before, and then to have that moment, especially after missing the senior night.
Get to have that one last opportunity to play in your home arena. It was special for UNC's all-time leading rebounder. But the defense coming up down low by Faye. Here's Green.
You're talking about Usby. She just has a hand on the ball, it seems like every possession.
Nobody's given up on this one. Here's Turner again, and she hits.
Usby's being able to stay after the play. That loose ball gets 3 points on the board for Team Lieberman.
Also, Team Lieberman with 9 offensive rebounds in this game. They've had a couple extended possessions. Here's Tipson.
Again, Usby, undersized underneath the basket, facing up Timpson. But here we see she was able to get a tip on the ball and out to Turner, who shot so confidently. She said, no one's around. Okay, I'll just go ahead and take
this. A little drag back. Those are hard shots to drag the ball backside and to the left and still be able to get your legs underneath you.
She made it look pretty easy.
Yeah.
Scott shot off the mark.
Von Lay on the boards have been tough for Team Miller.
Turner, some fancy footwork, draws a foul with under 20 seconds to go here in the first quarter.
I like that Turner's being aggressive. You don't want to see players force it, but if she's getting to the line, I'll take it.
Harmony Turner was the Ivy League Player of the Year, and she had one of the most impressive performances in the conference tournament. She dropped a career-high 44 points to upset Princeton, push Harvard into the conference championship game, and ultimately win their first ever conference championship. I mean, 44 points in that type of game, she really delivered.
She has a presence and an energy when she's on the court that you just feel. Even in the combine, I could just feel her energy and her voice. She's a huge spark. Picking up full court now.
I saw her high-fiving you a lot going through all those different drills out there.
She kept the vibes high.
Yeah,
she was
right.
so encouraging, and it was just exciting to be around her type of energy.
Clock winding down. Olsen rises and hits. 3 seconds on the clock. Turner charging up court, lets it rip off the rim. Well, that will end the first quarter. All smiles here inside Hillsborough Community College for the 2025 Lilly Women's College All-Star Game. It's a 1-point game as we head to the second.
It's a rare thing when someone you've been with for so long finds a way to surprise you. It's like discovering E-Trade's easy.
Truly incredible story. Thank you so much, AJ. And Harmony was inside the huddle with Nancy Lieberman moments ago.
You're going to come up for your shot. If she doesn't have this shot, you are diving. If you don't have the shot, you've got to get to the front of the rim. Pump fake so they don't block it. Weak side, you can exchange and cut. See how they're playing here, okay? But please keep your spacing. One more time. You're gonna have the ball here. You're gonna have the ball.
Some good advice from a legend in Nancy Lieberman as her team went on an 8-2 run to end the first quarter. Heard the pump fake. So there's a lot of defense down low, especially with the shot blockers from Team Miller.
A lot of defense and a lot of hustle plays. Right now, 18 rebounds for Team Lieberman to Coach Miller's 9. That's a big factor right now. We're seeing hustle plays left and right. A lot of those rebounds are offensive.
Tipson rims out. And 9 offensive rebounds for Team Lieberman, 2 for Team Miller. Here's your Kayla Jordan. The grad from Mississippi State. The offensive foul, it's heading the other way.
Again, with not a lot of time to practice offense, that's what we're kind of seeing right now. The offense is getting a little stagnant. We're seeing a little one-on-one. It's not very organized. I'd like to see these point guards get their teams organized. Let's run something basic.
It's hard in like 2 days because you miss that timing. Like that looked like a good dribble handoff idea, but they were just sped up. They're getting excited. Plus, there's a lot of good vibes happening out here to be in an all-star game.
Good vibes, all the nervous vibes. I couldn't imagine at this age playing in front of all these scouts. I mean, I know they've been doing it all season long, but still the pressure, you just feel it.
And they were in front of those scouts all day yesterday, going through the first ever combine, getting measured, doing drills, 5-on-5 shooting drills. And Monique, you got to do those drills with them. We'll have the coverage at halftime, but what was that experience like, being able to really connect with them and also go through a combine yourself?
Oh, Kelsey, they have me out here working, okay? I had a great time, though. If I was these young ladies at this point in my career, I would have loved to have had a combine. Just seeing where I measure at, playing against other people who are going to be pros. It was exciting. I can't wait to see the footage. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know how it was looking out there.
You looked good. You were sweating a little bit because
I
they put you through those shuttle runs, everything like that.
I did a sprint.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I loved about that combine and creating such an awesome event like that for the next level is, you know, scouts, they're watching all the stats and they're watching a lot of film, but to be able to have those measurements and those timings, they can see, okay, this is where they're elite at and where we can maybe get a fit and look on those draft boards like that, Monique.
Yeah, fit is everything. I'm glad you brought that up, Ann, because that's the most important thing when it comes to making a team. People see this person might have got cut or released. It's not a personal thing. It's just fit most of the time. Who fits well into a system?
There might be some player development. Sometimes you're not going to make a team that first year, especially in the WNBA, as competitive as it is for those roster spots, but it might be the second and third year as you develop your game after you get all those measurements, you know.
And now the WNBA expanding to 13 teams with the addition of the Golden State Valkyries, which we will see Monique Billings live in action this season with them. But it provides more opportunities, more roster spots for these individuals, for college players to come up and play in the league. And it's only growing even more.
That's exactly right. You should have hit you up for some of that Valkyries new gear out there, but we can't wait to watch. Okay,
exactly.
Can't wait to watch that.
I'm gonna get you guys covered. Okay, don't even worry about it.
We know you're going to be a star out there. And Kelsey, so cool, like you mentioned about the WNBA growth with Golden State and then the 2 other teams, Portland and Toronto, coming the year after. And these combines and all-star games are only going to help to get more exposure for those draft boards.
Absolutely. It's such a good time in women's basketball. I'm happy to be kind of in the middle of it. I'm not a rookie. I'm a vet now, going into my 8th season, but still in my prime. And it's so amazing just being able to see the opportunities these young ladies are having with NIL, Lily being a sponsor, putting on a combine. Like, no one's heard of such a thing. It's truly amazing.
We've got some star power right next to us, some WNBA players.
All my homegirls are in the building.
There's some. We're giving high fives in attendance.
High fives out here while we're sitting.
Yeah, we're just
together. They're walking
here.
right by.
I'm seeing my teammates, my ex-teammates. We got E-Dub. Shout out to Erica Wheeler. Victoria Vivian's behind her. The W is a small league, so it's like when you've been here for a while, you kind of know everybody. You've played with people.
I didn't see Vivian. She had the shades on.
The stars are bright out here, Kelsey.
Yeah.
That's why.
That was Johnson showing what she can do driving through the lane.
I was really impressed seeing Johnson yesterday. She's quick, y'all. In that sprint, I was like, okay, Johnson, I see you.
Just quick, getting downhill. I love her story of how she played at multiple Power 4 schools like NC State and Rutgers, but then went back home to Norfolk State to be able to be closer to her family. You see her right here. Look at this. That's just a little hesitation. She gets that small double dribble, and then boom, no help defense there. Look at that. When you're that size, you're also able to duck your shoulder down like a running back, getting low and then exploding out. Really had an incredible career, took Norfolk State, into the NCAA tournament.
And this is Zay Green at the free throw line. Out of Duncanville, Texas, spent 1 season at Bama, led Bama in total scoring, averaging just over 15 points per game. And now our own AJ McCord on the bench with your Kayla Jordan with more.
This is what you really call an embedded reporter. I didn't mean to wear the same color as Nancy Lieberman's team today, but here I am on the bench between Jewel Spear, Jerkayla Jordan. Jewel, you're a part of that, so you want to be a coach program as well. What is the thing that, if you were coaching your team right now, what is it going to take to get the win?
I'd say grit, energy, and just playing together, having fun, and running transition.
Jerk, what has it felt like to be out here in this All-Star game, sold-out crowd? You know there's WNBA execs and coaches in the stand. Just what has it felt like for you?
Honestly, I'm just grateful to be here, man. It's great competition. A lot of players, you know, you're seeing them all year. So just playing against them and competing against the best of the best, I'm just grateful to be here and honestly blessed.
So much fun to get to watch you too. Kelsey, I'll send it back to you.
Awesome job. Getting the inside scoop on the bench, AJ McCord.
AJ, yeah, put a jersey on over there. You got your Jordans on.
Turner, transition 3, no. Onya with the rebound. Olsen pushes ahead. Here's Scott. Kicks it out to Aral in the corner. She hits the 3.
Team Miller getting into that rhythm, forcing Nancy Lieberman to call a timeout.
Team Miller on a run as you see Julia Aral, the graduate from Michigan State.
It looks like they're clicking.
Yeah, they're just pushing pace, and Aral with a huge knockdown from Michigan State. She comes from a huge family of basketball hoopers. She has a twin, John, who actually helped out on the Michigan State team, and her parents both played at Wayne State, and her dad now coaches there. It was really cool, you guys, as we were researching these players, to see that Michigan State scheduled Wayne State to be able to play in that exhibition game, and it was a whole family affair for all of them.
That's what I love about basketball. Basketball just connects so many people, connects your family. When people ask me why I love basketball so much, that's the reason. Being able to go to AAU tournaments with my family. They come to my games, and I see that in a story like that with Olsen.
Yeah, I love to see that. Are they coming to Golden State? Will they be out there watching you? For sure. I love to see that. And it's just like you said, it's a community of people, but to have your family support and that bloodline, that everybody speaks the same language when you have that kind of Hooper family.
And that was really what everyone around this event was saying. So many amazing assistant coaches and ambassadors joining these head coaches as well. You just saw Ann Myers-Drysdale. That is Nancy Lieberman's son, TJ Klein, right there getting in on the huddle. We also have Cynthia Cooper, Natalie Achanwa. I mean, talk about the minds that you're surrounded with, all the basketball knowledge that these women and men provide.
A lot of star power in the building tonight. I actually didn't know that TJ plays in the Big Three. Nancy Lieberman had introduced me to him, and she was like, "Did you meet my son? He still plays." She said, "I get to coach him, and I get to pay him." I was like, wow, best of both worlds, right?
And even you in your heels, you were looking up to him. Like, he is very tall out there.
He has great size on him, yeah.
You mentioned all those coaches, and yesterday in practice, I couldn't believe it was so cool seeing Annie Myers-Drysdale out there in a defensive stance, showing the girls where to be, and Cynthia Cooper was still doing dribbling drills with the girls out here in warm-ups. So the game is still thriving, and they're still growing it in such a huge way.
The OGs still got it.
They still got it, exactly.
I saw Cynthia Cooper today in the hotel lobby. She said, "Monique, you're not blocking my shot." I said, "Cynthia Cooper, I don't want no problems, okay? I know I'm not blocking your shot. I know she still got it."
UCLA's second all-time block leader, Monique Billings, alongside former All-American at Iowa State, Ann O'Neill. I'm Kelsey Casper. AJ McCord's on the sidelines here in Tampa at the Women's College All-Star Game. It is Team Miller on a strong run here in the second quarter. They have a 27-23 lead over Team Lieberman. Some swag from Lawrence.
She showed a lot of confidence. That's the exact word, swag. She kind of did a hostage dribble on Turner, able to get her body into Turner to get that shot off.
This is Team Miller's largest lead of the game. Up by 6 here with under 5 minutes to go, but Lawrence getting the bucket for Miller.
Look at this little swag, a little juice.
As you are now taking a look at the draft order, WNBA draft taking place on April 14th. Dallas Wings, Seattle Storm. Mystics have back-to-back at 3 and 4, and Golden State round out the top 5.
Same spot. Ooh, that's
talking right too. Lawrence is out here putting on a show. Looks like she's trying to get MVP out here. Kelsey, you brought up the draft. I see my GM somewhere in here in the crowd. I'm going to ask her who she's looking at, who she's trying to recruit for the Valkyries. I'm curious.
Also, Everything's changed a little bit. Obviously, the news broke last week about Olivia Miles. She was projected #2 to Seattle. Instead of not declaring for the draft, she's entering the transfer portal. So that kind of switches up at least ESPN's WNBA mock draft.
And that's why these combines and all-star games are so important, because you never know what it's going to come down to in that actual draft, and you can bump up your stock quite a bit with a performance like Lawrence is having right now.
And some of these players don't always get the media coverage, maybe coming from a mid-major school. Okay, the bank is open for Faye, but coming from mid-major schools, you might not always have a game that's on television, so it's nice to be in front of scouts where you can get your skills evaluated.
And that's what I was talking with Ambassador Terry Mitchell, former coach. She loves the representation in this game from all the mid-major programs.
She said, let's go! So Lawrence getting it done. Bonlay actually getting it done in the post. That's what I want to see. Nice post work. And then on the other end, I think the bank is open. Y'all need a deposit or something?
He's working. Also, Espy underneath the basket. This is the free throw.
Espy's been on the offensive glass all game long. Super scrappy, her defense. She's playing against guards. She's playing against posts. I'm really impressed with Espy right now.
She finally ended the scoring drought for Team Lieberman. Good defense here. Jump ball. It's heading the other way.
Gordon was trying to break Higginbottom down, but Higginbottom got a hand on the ball. Two small players going at each other.
Monique, earlier you're talking about the posts, and we just saw an excellent post up by Bonlay, how you get that big target. I'd love to see that for Fairtig down here on offense for Team Lieberman in the red. She's such a great post player from Wyoming, like you mentioned. Maybe that one of those players doesn't quite get it very much. But Lawrence out in fast break.
Good defense from Jordan.
I'm not mad at the no call.
You can see it. Look at that high five. She said, yeah, that was good.
I like that take. I like the defense, too. I think that was a good no call. And Ann, you brought up Fertig. I'm a big fan. I like her footwork. I'd like to see her be a little bit more aggressive in these games. She got an offensive rebound earlier, but went up. I think she got blocked by a guard, maybe a tweener. I like to see her kind of put her body into a player and go up with it.
Well, her coach, Coach Heather Ezell from Wyoming, says she's just never satisfied. She just keeps getting better and better. And to end the season, she averaged 16.7 rebounds in her last 5 games. So getting her going, she's somebody that can really make a difference for Team Lieberman. She said she has that cowgirl toughness out there from Wyoming.
I like that. I mean, she's the Mountain West Conference Player of the Year. I'd like to see why. I'd like her to show why in this All-Star game.
She grew up in Wyoming, played all 4 seasons at Wyoming. She averaged a double-double this past season. And she is Wyoming's all-time leading rebounder and second in points. Some press here from Team Miller. So we are under 3 minutes to go in the first half. Cheryl Miller's squad up 33-27 over Team Lieberman. Here's Fertig in the paint. The patience. She gets fouled.
See, don't you love talking to player up?
Well, Fertig will head to the free throw line. And here's tomorrow's Sunday night baseball matchup. The series finale between the Cardinals and Red Sox at Fenway Park, 7 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. Our coverage begins at 6 Eastern, 5 in Boston with baseball tonight, Sunday night countdown. Mountain West Player of the Year, Allison Fertig, became the first player in league history to lead in points, rebounds, blocks, and field goal percentage. Mouthful.
She's one of those 6'4" players that usually had to play her back to the basket in that Mountain West Conference, but can also hit that high-low shot, that mid-range game.
I saw her working on that yesterday in the combine. And at the next level, that'll be important for her to be able to play inside out.
And for those post players, you're looking at a lot of passing too, right? You have the height for the WNBA, so you can see over the defense, and that's a big skill set to be able to make that high-low pass and be a passer within that system of an offense.
That's a great point. I know Fertig was getting doubled a lot at Wyoming, and she's actually an excellent passer, being able to pass out of those doubles.
Here's Turner. Her 3 is short. And of note, Khadijah Faye, that was her 4th foul on verdict, so she is on the bench for Team Miller. Here's Gordon working her way, just a little bit too much.
One thing I like about Gordon, though, she's always on attack mode. She gets downhill, slips and slides to her defense.
Puisis no from 3. And this will be Team Miller's ball. Maria Gordon, first team All-ACC. She was the 3rd leading scorer on a really high-scoring Florida State team. So really the most impressive stat for her, she was 2nd in the ACC in assist to turnover ratio at 2.9.
Yeah, Florida State, Brooke Wyckoff called her the secret weapon because there was a lot of attention on some other stars like Timpson out there, who's actually playing with her right now. But we were able to talk with her before game, and she says, I'm always used to playing against taller players. I just find ways to maneuver the ball. She watches a lot of Kyrie Irving's YouTubes and tries to play like him. So if she gets the ball, watch out. She is dynamite off the bounce.
Bringing a lot of energy today, but also Olsen, her teammate, super impressed with her thus far in this game. Being active, hands-on passes, just got a steal right there. She got out in transition too. I don't think Scott was able to get her the ball though.
We're getting a look at Olsen. I just love her story. One of the things that she talks about is basketball is fun. It's even trademarked at the University of Iowa because she said it in a press conference once. And she's a 3-level scorer, but that's her mindset and motto all the time is basketball is fun. Tries to play loose and free with that kind of vibe.
And her playing at Iowa, she's battle-tested. On a battle-tested team, great coaching, great players.
She's one of the big leaders when they upset USC this year. And somebody who played excellent basketball at Villanova, then went to Iowa. So somebody keep your eye on. And also one of those players who could maybe bump up in that draft.
And Gordon here.
Drawing the foul. I'm telling you, that pesky defense, no one likes to play against that, but that can get you on a roster real quick.
Take a look at it.
Basketball is fun. Look at that. Lucy Olsen really embraced by the Hawkeyes. I mean, what a fun fan base to play for in Iowa City.
I need to get one of those t-shirts because that's a great reminder.
Right.
We can feel so much pressure as players, and I'm sure you've experienced this too, but you just feel that pressure to perform, to do well. But it's like at the end of the day, I'm playing a game.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the best mindsets to come across. And I love that young photo of her. Her family said they tried to put her in other sports, but she would like miss practice to go practice basketball. So she was always dribbling and working on her game, and just love the kind of energy, like you said, that lightness, because she's always high-fiving her teammates too.
Let's make game-winning plays. Together. Together. Yes.
Let's make game-winning plays. I'm here for all of that. It's a big motto in the W.
Nancy Lieberman played at Old Dominion, 2-time Wade Trophy winner. She's been a coach as well. She's the first woman to coach a professional men's basketball team. She coached the Texas Legends, a G League team. She was also an assistant for the Sacramento Kings. Some impressive stuff from the Hall of Famer.
And I hope these players are asking these legendary women questions. I don't know if when I was at their age, if I would have, so I can't blame them if they're not, but I hope they are because they should be a sponge. These women have so much to offer to the game. These are literally legends that they're being coached by.
It's not just women's basketball, they do it at men's basketball and in so many different levels.
100%.
Contact down low, foul's gonna go on Onya.
I like Von Lay creating space in the post. She does a really great job of that.
Physicality, she was one of the best post players in the Big 12 Conference, transferred from Colorado to Baylor, and really wanted to work in Nikki Collins' system there, where it was more of a WNBA system. You know, she had coached at the Atlanta Dream and now at Baylor, and Von Lay really thrived in that, worked on that pick and roll system, and like you mentioned, getting great positioning down low.
And shout out to Nikki Collins. She was my very first coach in the WNBA. So big shout out to her. Got my start with her. But yeah, I saw Von Lay yesterday actually shooting from 3, and she looked great. I was actually surprised by that.
Yeah, again, like that system, usually you have to play down low, but you want to work on that outside game.
Well, under 20 seconds to go here in the first half. Clock winding down. Team Miller wanting the last shot. They've had a great second quarter here, but Olsen looking for her teammate.
That's where that chemistry,
Yeah.
that's where that comes in. I thought that was a good look from Olsen.
Well, here we go. Less than 5 seconds. Higginbottom denied, but it's going to be fouled with less than a second left. Lieberman's wanting free throws.
Not the smartest play for Gordon. I know she's trying to be aggressive, trying to make a play. But I know if she can get that play back, she would definitely want to. Cheryl is not having it.
Laughing. We'll hear her reaction in between these.
Oh, no. Oh, no. It's a rookie move, Cheryl. It's okay.
And Higginbottom from the free throw line. She led the nation in free throw attempts. 267. Guess what? She made 242 of them.
She's going to be mad about that first one, but my goodness, yes.
That's who you want at the line. And puts an end to this first half. But it's Team Miller with a great second half. They were trailing by 1 after the first quarter. They now lead 35-31 as we are waiting to hear from Cheryl Miller with A.J. McCord on the sidelines. Let's toss it down.
Cheryl, we saw you with her.
She was just on a heater, and she did those 9 points in 7.5 minutes. And what I loved about her was her mojo. She worked on that shot. Look at that raindrop down through the net. A nice backspin. She worked on her shot in the offseason, went from 31% shooter up to 40% shooter, and wow, she's really showing up.
I'm liking the energy that I'm seeing from Alyssa Udsby. Only has 6 points, but 6 rebounds. She's leading her team in rebounds right now. Her plus minus is great. And not 6 points, 2 for 6, but her energy, excitement, I love it.
Nancy, we've seen so much from your team in this first half. Trailing by 4, what was the message in the locker room?
The message is just we don't want our players to play in a meeting of 3 where there's a lot of people. We want to spread the floor. We have to do a better job when they take the ball out of bounds of staying connected to their shooters, but we like where we are.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, AJ, and thank you, Coach Lieberman. Trailing by 4, but she is no stranger to this situation. Last year, her team was trailing by 20, and they came back. They reached that target score first to win the All-Star game.
Coach Lieberman looks locked in. Job not finished mentality.
We saw the reaction from Coach Miller to end the first half as Furtick gets a hand on it, denies Faye.
Okay, Furtick coming out aggressive. Her teammates sitting behind us actually in the crowd.
It's a block party here.
I just want to get an invite. I hope I get an invite.
Monique, I think you're hosting the party.
Am I? Say less.
Well, here comes Jerkayla Jordan. She had 2 points in that first half. A graduate from Mississippi State.
Team Miller really sagging in defensively.
It was really the defense from Lieberman. I mean, they had the rebounding battle in the first half. They were also getting to the free throw line a lot. They shot 17 free throws in the first half compared to just 2 from Miller. Oh, wow. Some denial early on.
And Kelsey, you brought up the block party. I just want to get an invite, Allison Furtick, please. And on the other end, Faye returning the favor. We're seeing the big girls get after it with the blocks today.
And heading to the free throw line. Deanna Gaston for Team Lieberman. Played 1 season at Auburn, had 4 at Texas, set the program record for highest single season scoring average in Auburn history.
She just has a great story where she made that transfer from Texas to Auburn. She really wanted to play for the associate head coach, Fred Williams. He had 25 years of WNBA coaching experience and really wanted to take her game to the next level under his player development. And one of them's here today coaching in Cynthia Cooper that he coached. So Gaston has been working on her game and second in the SEC with scoring. So she can really light it up fast.
Feels like a reunion today because Coach Fred Williams is here too.
Yes, anybody who is basketball for women's basketball is here in Tampa and inside this gym for the Combine and All-Star game.
And Monique, you kind of had a reunion at halftime. I mean, how many current WNBA players are here and watching and cheering on these athletes as Scott goes in for the layup?
Yeah, it's cool because these might be some of our teammates. So we're kind of got to scout the competition, scout who we might be playing with. It's always good energy with the W. Exciting to see my former teammates and just colleagues.
We mentioned Erica Wheeler sitting front row as Gaston puts it in.
Team Lieberman killing on the offensive rebounds right now. No one from Team Miller's getting a body on them.
And that's Gaston showing her athleticism, what she can do. She's just so athletic and versatile inside that 4 and 5 position.
I like Gordon taking her time, playing off of 2 feet there, getting the ball back out to Higginbottom.
Talked about Higginbottom a lot in the first half. We heard from her coach, Mike Neighbors. As Gaston hits the ground.
She's all over these boards. I love that she's showing her athleticism. That's something that these WNBA coaches and scouts would like to see. How are players getting after plays and hustling? Maybe you're not scoring, but like, are you impacting the game? How are you impacting the game?
That's a lot what we talked about yesterday in the Combine. Sure, there's a lot of measurables and drills and things like that, but it's also things you don't see on the stat sheet that really jumps out to either college recruits, college scouts, WNBA scouts as well.
And the intangibles, right? Like that effort, the hustle, the leadership, how you're a great teammate because you might not get a ton of minutes when you're on a team, but that's
just players, current players, former players, coaches, college coaches, W coaches, GMs. I mean, it is everybody and anybody coming to watch these young ladies.
And speaking of these young ladies, it is such a massive opportunity for them to showcase their skills when they may not have had as much national media coverage throughout their season. What does an opportunity like this do for some of these players?
Well, I think it's a great opportunity. And when you start looking at the caliber of players that are out here, I mean, these are the who's who of our college game right now. The fact that they have actually taken the time, come out, they did a combine yesterday where a lot of the W coaches were, but they're on a lot of the W list. Now you get a chance to see them going up against each other, the best of the best. You got to take advantage of these opportunities.
And congratulations, speaking of opportunities, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame, congratulations to you. It's an honor to have you here at the game.
Thank you, it's an honor to be here.
Send it back to you, Kels.
Awesome, thank you so much both. Obviously, Tamika Catchings, a legend with the Indiana Fever. Played her college career at Tennessee. I mean, she is just at the top of the list of probably icons that these young women really look up to.
One of the best basketball players that our game has ever seen, but what I like most about her is her spirit. She's just such a genuine person, a mentor of mine. When I was these young ladies' age, coming out of college, I reached out to her and asked her, how should I prepare? And she gave me some great advice.
what was it? Did she tell you to hoop it up, the pace, conditioning? What did she say?
All of the above. But the biggest thing, she just said, enjoy the journey. That's what I remember her telling me. It goes fast.
Here's Turner with the takeaway. And a fun note, Zay Green went to Duncanville High School. That's where Tamika Catchings played her freshman year of high school as well.
Excellent patience from Faye on that layup. But McConnell on the defensive end. She's been one of those pesky defenders today.
She's one of the all-time leading steals in the nation. So that's what she does. She plays with that toughness, that grittiness.
Taking a look at the other end, the finish from Verdict.
Pick and roll action right there. You got enough spacing, the old two-man game on the side. That's what you love to see. They've practiced that over and over again in college, and that translates into the W.
She's gotten a lot of those this season. That's her bread and butter.
And keeping the ball high. You can't teach that, right? Just keep that ball above your head so none of those little guards come over and steal it.
Such a great point, Ann.
Getting the coaching from Lieberman on the bench as they bring the press. Different lineup out on the court now for both squads. Here's Timpson working inside, going one-on-one. But again, the defense has been so strong down low for both sides.
Miller's begging for a foul. Coach Miller's begging for a foul. I might have seen a little contact on the arm.
In all-star games, usually players just want to play offense, but not here, not today. They're showing the defense and the offense because you never know what these scouts are looking for.
Here's Von Lay down low, Timpson with the block.
Von Lay had two on her. She was able to get her space, but kind of went up with one hand instead of two and got that shot blocked.
Timpson, the first player in Florida State history to have a 100-block season. She's got a couple of them, I think, today. Little give and go. But O'Neill can't hang on to it.
Timpson's just so athletic. She's basically a double-double machine. Also averaged 3 blocks at Florida State. They compare her a lot to Natasha Howard, who is also a Florida State All-American, and now she's at the Indiana Fever.
Natasha Howard, one of my favorite people who I got to play with the Dallas Wings.
Oh, yeah.
Got to play with her, got to learn from her. She was a great vet.
Johnson pulls up, knocks down the bucket in transition.
I love that read by Johnson. She read the space and time, and she knew how to pop, and then you stay after the play, baby. Let's go.
Talk about reads.
The Norfolk State fans are going wild over here.
Diamond Johnson making a name for herself in this All-Star game. After the bucket, the defense coming up with the steal and the
chip away at this lead, Monique.
Only down 9, but what they need to do to chip away at it is get some good shots, get some good looks, settle into their offense.
It's been the turnovers that have hurt Lieberman right here. But oh my goodness! Play after play.
Beautiful execution, but Timpson getting it done on both ends.
Oh.
Okay, Timpson.
Look at her smile. Timpson feeling it after that block. She played in that SOS defensive system at Florida State and was excellent on the backside of defense. So you got to watch out with her. She's going to come from behind and get those blocks.
And that's a hybrid type of player.
Oh, almost had a nail on that one too.
A hybrid type of player that these W scouts are looking for. Who's going to guard the Brianna Stewarts? Who's going to guard the Asia Wilsons? The Monique Billings?
Yeah,
who's going to
girl.
guard those types of players? And Timpson has the size, the length to do that.
Because there's so many screens, and so you're going to have to rotate onto 2 or 3 or 4 different players. So how can you have that versatility, that athleticism, then come from behind with those huge blocks like that?
Defense to offense.
Timpson had her whole bench. Look at this whole play standing up on that sequence. Here's Higginbottom, denied by Timpson.
I love the scrappiness that we're seeing from Team Miller right now.
Zay Green from 3.
Look at that box
out, but they're going to call a foul. But let's recap this last few sequence.
Tough call down there for Timpson, but the way she just elevated to get that block shot and then getting it done on both ends of the floor, taking her time, using a little pump fake to get that shot. Timpson came out hot.
She's just bringing the energy, you know, that intensity on defense. Even that box out right there looked good, but she got called for the foul.
Onyeg's got called for the foul in this one.
Team Miller got some athletic bigs. They are getting up.
See Coach Miller coaching her team as Aaronette Von Lay heads to the free throw line. Actually, Aaronette's brother, Noah, he was drafted to the 2014 9th overall pick. He's here today, cheering her on and supporting her. Obviously, a big influence in her career.
Loved hearing her story of that she was actually at that 2014 draft and the relationship that they built throughout the years. He had a great pro career, and now he's kind of one of her mentors, one of her player development coaches, and that's why he's here today. So such a cool story from Aaronette Von Lay.
I know that'll give her an upper hand as she's preparing to become a pro herself.
Yeah. Someone who's been in those shoes before, even the mindset, expectations, how you have to work on nutrition, weight room, everything.
All the things. You know about it, Andy. You already know.
I need to get back into that. I got to get back, you know, into that discipline that all these excellent players have.
I'm in my off season, so I'm right there with you.
Yeah, but we saw you at 6:30 a.m. getting up shots, working on your game.
Here's McConnell with the takeaway. Up ahead, the fast break points.
Tenacity. That's the word that I'm thinking when I see Coach Miller's team right now. Picking up at almost half court. Everyone's getting it done. Post and guards. They're boxing out super well. That wasn't something that they were doing to start this game, but since the half, they've made that change.
I always think it's something when you're watching a team and how high their hands are is how you can tell their intensity. And McConnell is one of them that is doing it. Timpson, Lucy Olsen out here. Their hands are above their waistlines for the most part because they're ready to swipe the ball and also disrupt the vision of the ball handler.
And I love that word, disrupt. They need to be smart when it comes to disrupting, not trying to make the hero play by trying to make a steal. It's not always about that, but again, you brought up that word, disrupt. If they can just mess up the rhythm of the other team.
Yeah, get them out of rhythm, but a nice high-low pass on the other end here. That was a nice 30-foot pass in for the open lay-in.
Awesome feet here, no call. Here's McConnell as Miller has built their largest lead of the game. Gordon, no. Under 2 minutes to work with here in the third quarter. Team Lieberman led by 1 after the first quarter. Team Miller built their lead to 4 at the halftime break, and they have extended it here in the second half.
Tough defense there by Olsen. She was icing on that screen, forcing her to the sideline. But Spears not able to get just enough room to make that pass.
It's interesting seeing players who had a good rhythm yesterday in the combine, maybe not getting to it today. Spears, one of them. Madison Scott's another one, killing in the combine yesterday, but haven't been able to get their rhythm today.
They got some time to do so. About 1:30 left in this third quarter. As we take a look at Cheryl Miller's squad, as they have built their lead here in the second half. And doing so with some great defense, but turning it into offense.
Cheryl Miller said she wants her team to rebound and run going into the half. I feel like they've executed that. I think the energy that they've brought, I love those 2 plays that we just saw right there. Getting it done on both ends, too. The defense leading to offense or getting out in transition. Those are the easiest buckets. Those are wide open layups.
And at the very beginning of this half, it was a little bit slower pace. And I think that for Team Miller, what they wanted to do was pick up the intensity on defense so they could get out in transition. And then they were able to move the ball, get more points on the board.
They've done just that.
Leading the way for Team Miller is Deja Lawrence with 9 points.
Look at that intensity from Coach Miller. Wouldn't you love to play for her and just hang around her? Anytime she walks into a room, she just lights it up. She is like ready to elevate the game. And we noticed that even during our interview over here, Kelsey.
Yeah, we got to talk to her yesterday, her and Ann both. I mean, we were kind of fangirling over that.
Yeah, we definitely were.
Get an opportunity to sit down with 2 of the best minds in women's basketball.
Shout out Ann Myers-Drysdale. We haven't really talked too much about her today. She's a mentor of mine. I love that woman.
In and out for Olsen. It'll head the other way.
We talked about Annie Myers, one of the legends in women's basketball, and we got to talk to them for a little bit, but it was so funny. We walk in today, and she remembered every single thing that we talked about yesterday. I was just so impressed. She is so sharp. She wants to like elevate the game in any way possible. They're actually creating a new league called Upshot. They're going to try to create a, kind of a women's G League eventually in the next year because there's a lot of players that can't make those WNBA rosters. We're just talking about the expansion of women's sports, but also in women's basketball.
And I'll say she's a hype woman for me. When I've been low at points in my career, I get a text from Ann Myers-Drysdale. UCLA great, always hyping me up, shouting me out on air, and just giving me my props. I got to spend time in Phoenix this past summer, and just being around her was an incredible experience.
That's so cool. And you have that Bruin connection, WNBA connection. They want to see everybody win and be at their best. They all have that greatness mindset.
Well, we're going to go ahead and take a timeout with them. It is a 10-point advantage for Coach Cheryl Miller and her squad. 34 seconds left in the third quarter.
Fire and passion that she's coaching her team with.
I love that she says precision and the bench rooting at all times and how everybody's watching every little thing that you do. That was like motivational speaking 101.
Well, all eyes are on these athletes here in the fourth quarter. Fertig muscling her way in the paint. It's going to draw the foul.
She had 2 players on her, so that's a tough bucket for her to get up.
You see Allison Fertig heading to the line. Well, the Women's National Championship game is taking place tomorrow afternoon at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on ABC. UConn taking on South Carolina. Our pregame special gets it all started at 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Plus, Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi will be back doing their own commentating on the game on ESPN and ESPN+. It should be a great game. UConn versus South Carolina. We had the Final Four games yesterday. Monique, your Bruins couldn't come out with the win.
Oh, man, my Bruins got whooped, y'all, but it's okay. We're going to come back next season. Shout out to UConn. They earned that game. It was a great game for them, and I'm excited to watch tomorrow's game.
Well, South Carolina bring home their 4th national championship under head coach Don Staley, or will Paige Beckers lead UConn and get her first national title?
Predictions?
What a great story. You know, how she's torn her ACLs, able to come back, and then to be in the championship game, something she's wanted to do. One of the most efficient offensive players in the entire nation, and of course, projected to be that #1 pick down in Dallas. Can't say it for sure because you got to wait until it's called, but everybody knows. Everybody knows that they're ready down in the Dallas Wings for Paige Beckers.
Right. What are the predictions? Who y'all got winning tomorrow?
I'm taking UConn.
Okay.
I think that would be the great end to the career of Paige Beckers. I mean, you can't write it up any better than that.
Ending.
Right.
Exactly.
I loved how South Carolina plays, but I'm also going with UConn just because of that mindset. It's the last game. Everything's on the line. Everything that you've worked for. You've got great team chemistry, so I guess I'm going to go with Huskies.
I got to go with the Huskies,
Okay,
too.
all right.
Gino, schematic genius.
We'll be texting.
Yeah.
But during it.
Hit the group chat.
Yep.
In the promo, Paige called him the evil genius. Leading a historic UConn program. But after this, we got college softball for you. Texas A&M at Georgia following this game as Johnson rises and fires.
I like Johnson's poise throughout this whole game, throughout this whole weekend. She's just been calm, poised. She knows what she does. She's bringing that out here.
She is excellent at that second level, that 15-foot mid-range magic right there for her.
And silently racking up 10 points. She leads all scorers in this one and gets the rebound.
Definitely a silent bucket, quiet bucket.
Yeah, she's been finding her spots, right? And that's what you really love to see, like right there. She's got the speed getting downhill.
Bucket in the foul for Johnson, who heads to the free throw line.
And I'm glad she let out a little after the end of that shot. I haven't seen her show emotion, but her slowing the pace down, she does a great job of that. And then the one-arm finish, holding her defender off with the left arm. It's easy money.
When we were studying these awesome players out here, it was so cool to hear that story of she actually learned how to shoot trying to make it through the monkey bars on a playground back in the day in Philadelphia. So that's really hard how that ball bounces out of monkey bars. But, man, she's nothing but net here today.
Leading all scorers with 13 points, extending Team Miller's lead to 12. This one in and out for Von Lay. Now the game will end with a target score. We'll get that in a few minutes. So regardless, we will have a game winner in this one. Turner with some good defense in the takeaway. Foul's going to be called on Faye.
The spacing wasn't great on that play for Team Miller. I think they were trying to get a double drag going, but it was just kind of congested. Johnson didn't have time or space to really work.
And this is an important possession here for Team Lieberman. So let's check out their execution. You know, one player who I'd love for them to get going is Jewel Spear. She's one of the best shooters in the entire nation, played at Tennessee. So let's take a look on number 4. She can get open here on a flare.
Jewel Spear, 77 threes this year. Just off the rim for the Tennessee grad.
You called it though, Ann. That's awesome. Were you in the huddle?
Yeah,
in the huddle.
You know, you never know. Hey, screen the screener action on the top of that key, especially when you have such a hot shooter in Spear. One of the things I loved about her is that she had a coaching change when she was a junior at Tennessee and then learned a whole new system under Kim Caldwell and still was an elite scorer and three-point shooter. And I think that's something, Monique, that coaches and scouts look for too. Like, how can you adjust to a system, your adaptability?
Absolutely right. That's important in this league. It moves quickly. You can go from team to team. Again, we talked about fit earlier. It's all about fit. But yeah, how can you adapt to situations? You're playing multiple days out of the week, traveling, you're getting new scouting reports, all of that. How do you adapt to all of these things?
Johnson continuing to dominate, but like we learned from AJ earlier, Jewel wants to be a coach in her own. She was picked for the 2025, so you want to be a coach class. So you mentioned her adjusting to different coaching styles, hoping to put that and pay it forward in the future.
Yeah, and what a cool program that is by the WBCA, putting that on and building up what coaching really looks like, how you have to recruit, your scouting reports. Gosh, there's so much that these coaches do to make things happen in Division I hoops.
You brought up Spear on this end, but Madison Scott, another player who just hasn't got going yet.
See Johnson getting ahead on defense. It'll stay Lieberman ball. So we get some lineup changes. All 5 swapping out for Team Miller. 15 points for Diamond Johnson, leading all scorers as she takes a seat on the bench. Turner looking to get this offense started for Lieberman here.
Turner has thrown some dimes today, and I'm glad that her teammate capitalized on that one right there.
It was a little pocket pass right there, and so she can just time that right through the defense. You can see that that's something she's practiced over and over again. It's that 2-man game.
Lieberman getting it back to a 10-point game. Getting back into it, but regardless, like we said, we will establish a target score in a few minutes, and we will have a game winner regardless here in the 2025 Lilly Women's College All-Star Game. Onya, cross court to Olsen. McConnell in the corner, hits the 3.
bucket.
I love when they point like that at each other. They're giving them their props.
It's an all-star game. Everyone wants to go off and have a dub for themselves, right? But I like the unselfish basketball that we're seeing on both ends of the floor.
And you talk about dimes from Turner. That was one to her teammate in the paint, but second three made for McConnell in this game.
Look at this inside-outside game. Lucy Olsen makes the extra pass and gets McConnell open for that three ball. I love her story. Her brother TJ plays for the Indiana Pacers, and they just talk about that grittiness and toughness so much in their family.
Big basketball family, like you said. Her style of play really reflects her older brothers in the NBA. McConnell ranks first in NCAA with total steals. She had 138 this season. I mean, talk about being disruptive. You take a look at the two. Her brother in the Duquesne jersey, supporting his younger sister, showing out here in the All-Star game.
They used to go at each other all the time outside on the court, and he would never let up. He's 10 years older, so she had to learn that toughness. And she averaged 37 minutes per game playing at Duquesne. So Monique, one of the things I was always curious about is how when she gets to a WNBA team is that she won't have to have all that pressure to do everything both on offense and defense.
When you get to a team, do what you do best. That's great advice that one of my vets gave me when I came to the league. I'm a rebounding specialist, so I know when I come to the league, that's what I got to bring. Right now, today, we're seeing with McConnell, she's a defensive specialist.
Right.
Bring that defensive energy.
Yes, I love that.
Lawrence pulls up, in and out. You guys were waiting on Spear to heat up. She just drained the three. It's only the second made three of the second half between both of these teams. Turner gets caught up down low as we get another look at this three from Spear.
You know, I was hyping Spear up early to start this game, so I'm happy to see her get it going. That's what she does best, her being a knockdown three-point shooter. These scouts who are watching her, that's what they're going to want her to do at the next level.
And you just mentioned that about specialty, that you have an elite skill set at one or two things, and then you come in and then you perform in that moment, and that's what Spear can do.
And some players just need to see the shot go down one time, just see the ball go through the rim, and then they'll get going. Hopefully that happens with Spear.
Osby with the rebound, gets it out to Jordan. Going full speed ahead.
And one.
And the basket.
That's a tough finish right there. She put that jerk sauce on the finish.
There you go, the jerk sauce, Kayla Jordan.
Uh-oh.
Actually, we had two different calls. Two different calls on the court. They're going to say it was an offensive foul.
Oh, man, that's tough. I mean, it could have gone either way. She kind of put her right shoulder into her defender, but I thought it was a tough bucket. That's just me.
See, that's when, in an all-star game, it's a tough bucket, but it's also tough defense, so they both win.
Yep.
And some press here. They get it into McConnell. Under 5 minutes to go in this fourth quarter, but we will stop at some point to establish that target score. Team Miller has consistently had a 10-point lead in this second half.
It looks like they're trying to run some clock, too.
Osby and O'Neill getting tangled up down low as we will step aside here in this fourth quarter. It's been a great all-star game so far. Team Miller up 10 over Team Lieberman. The 5-year survival rate can be as high as 99%. Skechers Basketball. Experience comfort that performs on court. And by E-Trade from Morgan Stanley. Start investing today at etrade.com. Well, the clock is off and the target score is set here in the fourth quarter of the Lilly Women's College All-Star Game. 71 is the magic number. So if you're Team Lieberman, I mean, what's the message? You got 20 points to catch up to Team Miller.
Oh my goodness, if you're Team Lieberman, we gotta make some shots. Keep it that simple. Let's get good looks, let's not panic, let's take our time. Let's get good shots and some stops.
And for Team Miller, Ann, what do you think Cheryl Miller's telling her team is they only need 10 points to make it 8?
That's
right.
Basket for Olsen. You know, I was a coach, assistant coach in that unrivaled league, and those 10 points go so fast. So you got to be all gas, no breaks, and that's exactly what Coach Miller's team did right there with the Olsen bucket.
We've got some stars from the Unrivaled League here today. I mean, what was that experience like?
It was just like the intensity picks up, especially in this fourth quarter. It was back and forth. Just awesome play all around, and that's what we're already seeing here as they start trying to chip away at that lead for Team Lieberman.
Well, take away to fast break.
Yeah.
That'll get it done. Turner with the bucket.
Getting out in transition is one of the easiest ways to chip out a lead. Team Miller can't get too comfortable. You don't want to make mistakes like that. The chemistry might not be there. We keep saying that, but you have to stay poised in these situations.
Right.
That's why Cheryl Miller is saying, slow down, calm down, make the right play.
It's almost like you kick it up a notch because you know that there's an end goal that you're all trying to reach, so you got to pick it up on defense and then put the gas on offense.
It's the level of focus that you want to tap into in the last few minutes of a game.
Here's Usby. North Carolina Tar Heel through the paint. Von Lay denied, but is going to get called for the foul. She'll head to the free throw line.
I like how Usby has attacked the rim this game, hasn't capitalized on a lot of makes. And then Von Lay, she's doing a great job using her body to get offensive rebounds. She did a little pump fake that time, got her defender in the air, and now she's to the line. She's gone to the line quite a few times in this game.
Did you hear that rebound, that slap?
I didn't hear it. It's so loud in this gym.
Yeah. She was physical on that offensive board.
It's really cool when you see a post player who knows their angles, especially rebounding, knows how to use their body to create an angle.
And right there, like you were talking about, it's about creating extra opportunities on offense. And Usby with the hustle play, trying to get that offensive rebound. So now they'll have a chance out of bounds on the baseline.
She's done that all game long. That's going to be huge.
Or excuse me, free throws. Yeah.
Free throws. When she gets to the next level, it's going to be so important for her to create these types of plays. When a coach puts a rookie in, they definitely want their rookie to make impact plays. We've seen Usby do that all game long. 10 rebounds tonight.
She finished third all-time in the ACC in career rebounds. She averaged 9.5 per game for North Carolina this season. And honestly, last year, she was also top 5 for the Cheryl Miller Award. Diamond Johnson checks in, the lead scorer in this game, as well as Jerkayla Jordan for Team Lieberman.
Team Lieberman putting on the full court press, trying to cause a little turnover.
They already have a few turnovers. Team Miller does here in this fourth quarter.
I love the full court defense that we're seeing right now from Team Lieberman. They're saying, let's go, high-fiving. They're on the same page.
Olsen gets it into Johnson. Pass half court. Away from the ball foul. It's going to go against Von Lay.
Getting a little chippy here in the post specifically. Faye trying to maybe just do a swim move on Von Lay, and Von Lay looking like, I'm just trying to post that.
Yeah, you're not getting this.
No, not that easy.
And we have seen phenomenal defense in the paint. I mean, elite level shot blockers.
There's physicality, there's athleticism. They're all trying to make sure you're not getting in positioning on me.
Here's Lawrence out to Johnson. Lets it rip and hits the big three.
Johnson, the quiet bucket. Not so quiet in this second half. She's been going off.
Team Miller just 5 points away from the win. And the defense causes the turnover.
I see you, Johnson. She's a fiery type player.
Check out her eyes here on this play. She was sizing it up, ready to catch and release. Oh my gosh, off that assist.
From deep.
Little cap, yeah, little logo 3.
She's actually a player who I got to interact with yesterday at the Combine. Super nice, and she was encouraging me. I don't remember what drill we were doing. We might have been doing the shuttle run or something like that. But she was awesome to be around.
She's open again.
Here's Faye. Off the glass, no. Madison Scott trying to fight for the rebound, but it goes into the hands of Jordan.
Scott's one of the best defenders out here for sure for Team Miller. Played that Ole Miss defensive system where they dictate and disrupt.
Puisis, the feed to Usby. Gets it back in control.
Surprised they didn't call a jump ball on that play.
Here's Jordan on the drive. Draws a foul. 2 shots coming.
One thing Team Lieberman has done super well in this game is get to the free throw line. They are attacking. They've been on go mode all game long. Still not having the lead. That's super interesting to me.
31 free throw attempts for Team Lieberman in this game.
For an all-star game.
For an all-star game.
Only 3 for Team Miller. Cheryl Miller told us at halftime, too. She wanted more calls.
Sure did. I've seen her and her staff. Cynthia Cooper talking to the refs like, do you not see these fouls?
This team needs some hot sauce, but what about some jerk sauce from Jerkayla Jordan, an NIL deal she created with the Mississippi State team, and they serve that right inside their stadium.
Cool
Really
as
cool to
that.
see that.
Well, here comes Scott down court. To the rim, up and in.
Excellent play from Madison Scott. She's someone who's been kind of quiet in today's game. I thought she would have been a little bit more active, got a couple more buckets to fall, but I like that she's getting out in transition.
Team Miller now only 3 points away from the win. Here's Turner driving. Another whistle.
We were just talking about Madison Scott. She was the very first McDonald's All-American that went to Ole Miss, and then talks about that Mamba mentality all the time. So she is a major defender in the SEC and for Ole Miss. She was their leader. She goes, I'll do it all for my team. It doesn't matter. I want to impact the entire stat sheet. She wore number 24 at Ole Miss because she loved Kobe Bryant so much.
I love that Mamba mentality. She has such a great pro build. When I'm looking at pro players, I want to see a player who's able to guard multiple positions. She's able to guard the guard. She can guard the post. She's wiry. She's athletic. You see her getting out in transition. She's bouncy, too.
Yes, yes.
That's a prototypical type of player right there.
You and I were talking earlier about just how she was one of the most vocal leaders as well, high-fiving.
Pushing up court, but Usby gets a hand on it. Trying to do everything she can to extend this game for Team Lieberman. Here's another possession for the red team. Izzy Higginbottom, the lead scorer in NCAA total points. They're going to say it was last touched by Lucy Olsen.
Team Lieberman trying to come off that double drag. I feel like that's something that Coach Lieberman has drawn up a couple times in the huddles because they've gone to it a few times in this game.
Watch the out-of-bounds play for Spear.
Higginbottom looking to create, but blocked. Gordon got a hand, Lawrence got a hand on it. For the win, Johnson the three!
Diamond Johnson with the win!
Putting the exclamation point on an amazing performance in the All-Star game. Ann Myers hosting her up.
Yes.
What a knockdown. They knew it. She was ready for that ball and the moment. So cool to see her just keep elevating throughout this game. Wow, the energy,
the confidence to take those big shots again from deep, far out from the three-point line. Big shot, Diamond Johnson. I see you, girl.
71-59.